This is the first episode ever. First one. I kind of wanted to start to do like some taping because I've been thinking a lot about how do I incorporate like a spiritual practice or belief actually into my lifestyle. And just to give you a little bit of a background, I've been meditating for about 15 years, kind of on again off. I mean, mostly on, I have to say. I mean, I've been kind of consistent, but consistency maybe 10 minutes or something a day, but mostly on. I've done a number of retreats ranging from a long weekend to, I think, the long 6 months. So I've done a lot of meditation retreats, mostly like in a particular Buddhist tradition, Theravada. So it's kind of, it doesn't have like a lot of, I want to say accoutrements, so it's not very, there isn't a lot of pageantry in it. It's really very simple. The practices are very simple, and the primary thing is sort of mindfulness. It's sort of like really being aware of what's going on with you, whether you're doing something in your daily life or when you're actually doing what you would consider to be a meditation. So the whole idea is just to be present and focused. So I've been doing that. But then, 15 years later, without even really trying, I find myself really becoming more and more interested in having my spiritual practice or my meditation aligning with my life. So I was raised Catholic, and I feel like because I was raised Catholic and I went to Catholic school and whatever, the family wasn't particularly devout or anything, but it was kind of, in terms of the community, was kind of expected, and everybody sort of participated half-heartedly, how short of a mass can I go to kind of thing, but people participated. Um, but I feel like my values are really like solid. They talked about the Ten Commandments a lot, and and it wasn't like lots of people have issues with the Catholic Church, but and the Ten Commandments. But for me, I feel I feel like the Ten Commandments is very similar to the rules that Buddhists live by, the rules that other religions live by. I mean, it's basically all the same. People get mad at me for saying this, but it's basically all the same. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, don't hurt people. Be a good citizen, be a good person, help others. So like that's kind of the foundation for all the religions, really. And like I said, people kind of have issues with like Catholicism, but I remember as a kid going to church and them talking about the one commandment, "Thou shalt not kill," and and now, like as like kids, we weren't killing anybody, right? No, and nor are most adults, right? It's not really a big commandment that people have to think about so much. Like, yeah, okay, I'm not killing anyone. Um, but but they like broke it down in a way that was, they related it to cruelty to animals. So like they took this vow, this commandment of "Thou shalt not kill," and they showed how it applied to like not abusing animals, not even not killing them, because certainly we weren't vegetarians, um, but they really were relating it in a more broad way. And so I feel like, and I felt like that once I started to sort of practice in meditation and Buddhist tradition, that like my values are there, like I don't try, I certainly try not to hurt others. I try not to lie, cheat, or steal. I really make an effort to do those things, and not not that I'm perfect anyway, but like I feel like that's pretty well in place. And then I'm only marginally interested in like the Buddhist teachings, like I don't know. It's interesting. It sort of fills the time of any sort of sangha, but like my interest has always been in meditation. I think that's kind of typical of like many Westerners, maybe just Americans. But anyway, we're sort of really interested in just doing the meditation practice. And maybe it is because we come from, you know, other spiritual traditions in which we weren't lacking in these other things, you know, like we have some Jesus stories. We don't need Buddha stories. It's all the same. So, please don't kill me. But I feel like it's all very similar. So I think that um, you know, that's been in place for me, and I guess maybe a lot of other Westerners. So I had been really focusing on meditation and different spiritual practices, and I've practiced yoga off and on um, because it helped my meditation, like it helped me be able to sit longer. But now I'm sort of going through a career change. Not that I had much of a career; I had jobs, but um, now I'm really starting on a career that I really feel like I'm a little maybe too old to be starting a new career, but whatever. So I really feel like I'm trying to incorporate my new career with a lifestyle change. And now my lifestyle has always been kind of modest. I don't really, it doesn't vary that much whether I have a better job and making more money or if I have like a not such a great job and or I'm unemployed. It doesn't really vary that much. Obviously, if I'm unemployed and sometimes tragically unemployed, then I don't buy things and maybe I'll rack up a credit card bill because I'm kind of supplementing my income. So whatever, but like, yeah, it's not that I'm not like a big spending kind of a person. So I'm not really trying to shift my lifestyle per se, but I'm trying to incorporate all these pieces. I guess is the way it's working out. Um, I had been trying to write about this and talk to friends and stuff, but it hasn't been very helpful. So I'm hoping that this video will be very helpful for me, and it is kind of turning out to be pretty good. So I'm trying to incorporate all these pieces. And my new career is mental health counseling, and certainly that in the Boosts have a phrase called right livelihood, and what it means is to have a job to support yourself that isn't causing problems for somebody or society or something. So, for example, drug dealer, that would be bad. Not so much from like a moral standpoint of it's bad to sell illegal drugs, but like from the standpoint of you're supporting someone's addiction and you're knowingly helping somebody do that. And I don't think there's anybody out there that can be so deluded as to think that people with addictions don't have problems. So that would not be a right livelihood. Um, Things that are sort of in between are things like I don't know, maybe a lawnmower person or um, I don't know. There's a lot of things that maybe are kind of in a gray area, neutral. And then, but I feel like mental health counseling is really absolutely right livelihood. And I feel like that is part of my spiritual practice. And I'm just starting out. I mean, I'm not even starting. I'm finishing up graduate school now. And then I'll be able to try to really support myself doing good. And that was actually a big motivation for me to go to graduate school is because for years and years and years, I have been supporting myself with a job and for something that I don't even, I think it's, for me, it felt very questionable of whether it was right livelihood or not. So I wasn't doing anything illegal, or even outright immoral, but I was supporting institutions that I felt were maybe immoral, were capitalistic, too capitalistic. I mean, obviously, money needs to be made, but like there were, that was a sector of the world that I really didn't appreciate. So I'm really hoping and then I would always kind of have other things going on the side, art or video show or something going on, and this I'm trying to bring together so that I have, so my free time isn't spent trying to do something valuable. And my free time can be me cooking my food and doing my laundry and relaxing, and that my meaningfulness, my meaningfulness, will be coming from my job in mental health counseling. So I'm trying to incorporate this, but like I'm trying to bring it all together so that it's not just like the job, is right, livelihood, the spiritual practice of meditation. Like I want it to become like a philosophical goal for myself, so that I can weather the bad times better. So I know that mental health counseling will be very difficult, especially if I am able to really work in those really difficult situations with people who have chronic mental illness, with people who are homeless because they have chronic mental illness or addictions. And so I'm hoping that I'll be able to support myself that way. I'm not sure that's possible, to be honest, because the salaries can be quite low and where I live is quite expensive. So I'm hoping to sort of bring my philosophy in my spiritual practice to work, not to bring it there, like to try and get people to practice Buddhism, but to like allow myself to remember why I'm doing it, so that I don't burn out, and to like sort of just kiss it up to God, and say, hey, I got I got bills to pay and I have clients to see. How, help. I'm not such a praying kind of person. Like I'm not asking like please help me, but like to integrate my intentions with my job and my lifestyle, so that I am able to deal with life better, and which I think will help me be a better therapist. And I think that it will make me more satisfied, so that I'm not unhappy that I don't have. I can't even say a big car, but a car, or I'm not happy that I can't afford certain things, or I don't know, like, so that I can remember and appreciate myself for doing the hard work of helping people in need. And so that's what I'm actually hoping to accomplish with my new goals of spirituality. And I've been kind of playing around with some words as to what the word is that's going to represent this part of my life. And there's like this term called new monasticism. There is the word monastic. There's the word aspirant. There's the word mendicant, which kind of usually means more like a person who gives up the world, like a renunciant, someone who gives it all up. I'm not trying to do that because I don't think that would be I wouldn't be able to help the world and help others to the same extent as if I have a roof over my head and money. And I'm hoping that, so I picked the word aspirant to represent because I'm aspiring to leading a kind of a calling, a life of a calling, life of spirituality, and incorporating the few fundamental things, which are live a simple life. And that would kind of mean kind of frugal, but at a certain level, I have to be comfortable and able to not worry about being safe and stuff like that, or that I'm going to be able to eat. So a certain level of comfort. I have to be able to do that for myself. I can't live off government subsidies or whatever government support, assuming as long as I can work, as long as I'm able to, and I am able to. So I have to support myself, and to practice. That's the other one, to practice, to continue to do that. And so right now I don't have like a big support system. I have some friends who are who do yoga or whatever, and I have practiced with the different Buddhist groups called sanghas. I kind of don't have one right now. There's none convenient to where I'm living, and I'm really very busy with school and internship and work, so I don't really have time. So I'm trying to do that on my own, and I think actually that's where I'm really struggling at the moment. Is although I have these philosophical questions about how can I incorporate this stuff, but really I'm struggling to sustain a meaningful practice. So like I said, I kind of am always practicing, even if it's just 10 minutes a day. But recently I did 3 hours, and last night I did like an hour. And I'd like to continue to do that. But I'd like to be able to do it more solidly. Like originally, months or years ago, I keep beating myself up like I need to have like a morning ritual, and I need to have, like I have to get that together, and I've never been able to do that through any of the methods that people sort of recommend, and there's a bazillion out there. I just can't sustain that, and so I'd like to approach it from a different way, of this desire to help others, this desire to integrate my spiritual practice, my spiritual beliefs, and all of that into my life. So that's where I'm at right now. I would welcome anybody's feedback or their own experience, like how did this work for them? I would really be interested to hear if anybody else has like a similar struggle and how they're sort of managing that. So until next time, I will speak to you again.